Everybody, thanks. Okay, day two. Welcome everybody on this warm night. Too bad it wasn't the last 2 days, but anyway, that's how it goes. Thank you everyone for coming. Just a reminder that this meeting is streamed live, but it's also being recorded and will be available on the town's YouTube page. Adoption of committee minutes, number 4.1. I have a motion here. Go ahead, Brad, sorry. Moved by Mike, seconded by Melissa, that the minutes be adopted of the Special Events Committee and that those confidential minutes, both actions of the committee remain confidential and restricted from public disclosure in accordance with the exemptions provided in the Municipal Freedom of Information and Protection Privacy Act. That is referring to the committee meeting minutes, May 5th, 2025, which is in package. Anybody have any questions, comments? Just nothing, all in favor? Approved. Moving on. Business arising from the previous minutes, picnic in the park, safety day recap. First of all, I want to give a shout out to the Independent for the reporter that was there. Nice young lady. Never got a chance to meet with her, but I really like the caption she had in the paper, which was picnic with a purpose. So thank you for that. It kind of described the intent of the day. Weather was up and down. It was down for a little bit. We decided to close it early, and as soon as I said that, a few seconds later, the sun come out. So it is what it is, but all went off well. Tons of amazing comments that we've had online. Tons of amazing comments regarding Armando, the train fellow. A lot of comments from the vendors that I got around to see. They definitely appreciated it all. The Safety Day people were quite thrilled. I don't have a final count for the number of kids that the Masonic chip did, but I think it was 24.
Yeah, that sounds right. I think it was
around 20. So.
Yeah.
Which is quite good. They were quite happy. OPP was quite happy. Yeah, everything went off well. Only downfall, if you want to call it, would be the music might have been a bit too loud for some of the vendors. Failing that, everything went off without a hitch. Anybody else have comments that they got?
Ron Clark had 130 kids do the Plinko.
Really nice.
Ian Webster was pretty busy the whole time.
It was nice to see that they bought stuff from a bunch of local businesses in the area too. I think that was a nice draw as well.
Anybody else have any other comments on the day?
We should probably address the food trucks. So because the weather wasn't great and we talked about ending the event early, we had talked to some of the food trucks so some of the food trucks, as you recall, were carrying over their fee from last year's Canada Day, and some of them were new. But because of the weather, people did start to leave, and not all the food trucks would have made any money. So we did for anybody that it was a carryover, we just kind of let it be. For anybody that had paid new money in, we had said that we would carry that towards the Canada Day celebrations as well. So that it was kind of a 2-for-1 for them because the weather wasn't great, so it wasn't a great opportunity for them, unfortunately.
Is it pretty much all the same vendors, the trucks that are gonna be in Canada Day in Kamlaki?
Right?
Okay.
Pizza is gonna have their Slurpee type things. Hopefully, if the weather is conducive, celebrate Canada.
Good. Yeah, I should say thank you to them because they provided the events tent with a whole pizza.
And the firefighters,
And the firefighters.
yeah, if you yeah.
So, everyone saw the tent that we had. It was really made us look official. It was really quite nice. One thing that we do need to, get, and we'll talk about it a little bit down the road, but I just want to say thank you to the museum board for allowing us to have 2 tables because we completely slipped our mind. So thank you, Gord, for that. If nothing else for 6.1, I will move on to 6.2, Celebrate Canada event. Nicole, can I get you to bring up the, actually, I'll just slip back to Picnic in the Park for a second, just to kind of update what I know at this point for the financials. So my apologies for not getting these printed out for everybody. Twisted Chris never fails to amaze. He is always the last one there, right to the very end. But he's so thrilled with dealing with us. He was a full 4 hours. The washrooms, hand wash stations, I think they were well placed, definitely. What I would like to track down, I don't really know if we can, Nicole, because it's so far from the event, would be when they come to pick them up or clean them out. You could tell whether enough of them were used. I don't know, right? Just to fine tune that
I
amount.
think they come and pick it up on the Monday.
Right.
I can reach out and see what they say.
Wouldn't hurt if it does jog the memory, yeah. If not, that's fine. Tattoos, we did have quite a few left over, right?
We did. I think that I think the tattoos worked well. I think they were really nice designs. I think the next time, if we want to try to get bigger buy-in with them, we need to have a couple of chairs set up to actually put them on. Because it was hard to do. I was trying to put some of them on, but it was hard to do from my height to the kids' height.
One thing I did notice regarding that, there's a lot of other vendors there did have tattoos as well.
Yeah.
So we could maybe revisit the face painting scenario, either internally or an external source.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, we did have a couple people ask about it. It was a little confusing though, because there were people that had went to an event earlier and then came with face paint on. So there was people there with painted faces, and some people I think were just confused why they didn't find face painting.
Musician, that was the right amount. Magic Train, that was the right amount. Kitty's Fun Track, that was all fine there. Yeah, everything else was as expected. We actually came in under budget on the event, which was nice.
Are the actuals on the screen?
No. The tattoos were, I think, 100.
$92 is what you said.
Yeah.
I didn't update some of the stuff.
Everything else should be pretty close, so.
And Facebook was $6 over. Didn't account for taxes.
And the float banners, I don't know if they were 60 in the end. They were nice.
Do you remember what the receipt was for those? The Amazon one I sent you?
One today?
Yeah. 36, maybe?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Max, it was probably like 41 or 42.
So a little under.
42 then, okay. All in all, we're still, Well, under, so that's good. Same with safety day, we didn't have a lot there, so we're definitely still under there, so, if you can scroll up to Canada Day. This is what we now have to talk about, so at least tonight we can kind of, there a budget that we need. The other thing too, before I go too far, I would like to have a subcommittee meeting next week if possible, because time is gonna be here before we know it. Other than on the Mondays and when does the Leafs play? It's a Tuesday, Thursday. We'll figure it out.
The Oilers, you don't have to worry about
The
that.
Oilers, yeah, the Oilers, sorry.
Yeah, still too soon, Brad.
So I put Twisted Crest in for the same amount, because that's pretty much, as far as I'm concerned, gonna be the same. 3 hand wash stations, I just guesstimated if you can get a price from them. I would assume that the canteen washrooms would be open for it, right?
I'll check with them.
Okay. And do we have access to the washrooms at the community center for that day? Can we, the doors going into the main hall, can they be locked or just at least closed?
We can close them, main hall, we can close those.
Lock or not.
Well, I can put a chain through 'em if I have to.
I think if they're closed, I don't think anybody.
Yeah, nobody's gonna.
I think maybe
Thanks,
just
Brad.
close, because if the weather is bad, I mean, I don't know if it's anything inside, it might be,
Okay, yeah.
never know. And if we have a plan B, then maybe the weather will be really nice.
I have here tattoos, just the same amount. Do you think that's gonna be way too much, Melissa?
I don't, honestly, I don't think we need to buy any more. I think we can use what we have.
Just what we have, so I'll take that
Yeah.
rate out, okay?
It wouldn't be bad though if we had a couple volunteers to do the tattoos. Because we did buy like more elaborate face tattoos, which look really cool, but you need a couple minutes to put on and.
For the overall event, we will need anywhere from 6 to 8 volunteers. So we'll have to maybe start the asking for volunteers early on that one on the Facebook page.
Do we have any tattoos that like have the Canadian flag or any of that stuff?
We have a couple, yeah.
Just a couple?
Well, we had them from Celebrate Canada or Canada Day stuff years ago. We can buy more, but honestly, I feel like. If we're, it depends the audience we're trying to go for. The kids will reach for the characters over the Canada Day flags. And we have a lot of the characters.
We have Canada Day flags too.
Yes, we have flags.
Oh, okay. How many, like, are they like the individual handout ones? Okay, perfect. Okay.
Musician Stephanie Aiken and the Aiken Hearts, correct? And that's the price, $350. Magic Train, Armando's already excited about coming back for the next one. I asked him if he ran out of lollipops, because he was giving all the kids lollipops. He never said. All he did was smile. So.
You can get a lollipop.
Oh.
Well, I went out with my kids.
For the rides for that event, what we had picked up last year, we're carrying forward to this year with the addition of one swap out that we already talked about as a group. We're having a mechanical bowl, the ultimate rush, the wrecking ball challenge, the high striker, and the 4-station grand carnival booth. So that all comes in with our balance owing and the carry forward from last year of 3,100 for that.
Are any of those bouncies or? I guess the ultimate rush,
Yeah, it's more of a
obstacle course.
obstacle.
We should check. I mean, we don't have to check, but the day of, we did have somebody at the bouncies for this event. And then we had to kind of replace when the volunteer left. So we'll keep that in mind.
That's why there's 68 volunteers that we will need for the various things with this. Float for the banner, I'm assuming we're gonna do the same type of thing.
Yeah, it looked
Okay.
nice.
So I'll bump that down there a little bit then. Posters for around town, the ad for the independent, I'm gonna start increasing the size of our ads just a little bit as compared to what they have been. Not as large as the independent ad, but I shouldn't say that. Actually, I am going to go the size of the safety day ad.
Honestly, I think between Facebook and the Independent, I think our money is probably better spent there over the bag stuffers for future events. I think I've been at Fiddler a couple times and a few other places around town, and they're on the counter, but a poster could be on the counter.
Right.
Nobody
I
else, yeah.
agree with you. Agree with you on that one. So this is what's left over for the bag stuffers though, for
Yes.
this particular one. So I have a budget of 6,000, give or take, new amounts. So I don't know of anything else that I would need to add other than cupcakes. Jill was 300, right? And then tables, we do need to get tables, and Melissa found some tables at a store, and they are 8 foot and they fold up to 4 foot. Sturdy, good quality, good as what the museum had there. And then we can keep them in the storage unit, and that was 350. So yeah, I'm sure if I just keep it at that, because that's done it. So I'm thinking 6,600 as a budget for that event. If anyone else has anything else they can think of.
What's the price difference for the ad that you're jumping to, Brett?
350. Why don't I go 6,800 in that? Why don't I go 7,000? We're not gonna use it anyway, so. Is everyone okay with doing a $7,000 budget for the Canada Day event? That gives us some leeway. All in favor? Thank you.
Was there a motion for it?
Just wanna make sure everyone's okay with that particular amount. So if we figure that into the equation. After this event is done. We'll have approximately 19. Left over to spend. So we're doing well. That's why I think we can increase our ads and Facebook advertising maybe just a little bit. Anybody else have anything for Celebrate Canada that we need to talk about? Ingrid?
I'm waiting for a call back for a sponsor on the train. I actually just spoke to Adam about it. He gave me some more information on that shortly, and I'll reach out again tomorrow, and hopefully I'll have an answer by the end of the week.
If not, as long as it's a day or two before the event, then we're
Yeah.
fine.
No problem.
Okay, good.
We know how many cars are coming? Yeah,
I don't, there's 5 other car events on the go that weekend, but 3 of the other ones are quite far away, and some of the guys are not going that far. He can't commit to a number, but he said it's not out of the realm of possibility of 40 to 60. Which I think is fine, really to start out, you know.
I've been asked if a couple other people in the neighborhood have cars, if they could bring them over.
I'm sure that's fine. I will check with the convener for retro car events just to make sure. I don't want to step on their toes since this is the first interaction with them.
Check out.
I got asked by the Green County e-bike owner if he could bring his car. Which is undercover in the back of his store. A special Camaro.
Okay. Listen, let me check and I'll just put it on the group and let you know. I don't have a problem with it, but I mean, I don't want to step on
Yeah.
their toes, right? For that. Food trucks, who were we having again for that? I know OMG and Pizza.
That hot dog guy?
That hot dog guy. I know Bubbles.
Optimus or no?
No, not.
No.
But I think the canteen will be open, yeah. And then we've got, Film Vickers.
Stone Pickers is coming, yeah, and they're gonna supply other drinks
Cider?
here too.
Yeah.
Have you touched base with them, Gord, at all since we
I
set
I
them?
was speaking to him 2 weeks ago. So they're all ready to go.
There you go.
And we sell the tickets and that's what's gonna happen. We have to supply, sell the tickets, handle the cash.
We could find our tickets.
Yeah, I think we have a roll.
We do have a roll, and then the town is going to bring their debit machine.
Haven't finalized. There's some logistics to figure out still. That's why I'd like to have a meeting next week so I know what the hell for the town, what you guys need to provide. For Unicol as to where the hand wash stations are gonna go.
One thing about the debit machine,
Cell reception is horrible.
reception is horrible.
Whereas the
It's
our debit machine doesn't have cell, it works off of Wi-Fi, so if it doesn't have a Wi-Fi connection, it won't work.
Yeah.
So once we get
We get a hotspot. Right, but
it's
that's not
assuming you
Bell.
have Rogers and not Bell, we'll not get a signal with Bell out there. Right.
We on the committee have Rogers.
So,
Where's the beer tent gonna be located?
we're under the gazebo there.
It's way too far away from the community center to use their Wi-Fi.
So it may not work, but we might just have to resort to cash. But yeah, we just some logistics to figure out for sure with that.
And the town doesn't accept email money transfers.
Not in that situation, no, we do for our recreation programs, so it flows through our rec program. So
we're gonna need a cash flow too for that purpose as well, right?
Yeah, we'll need to float again. We'll figure out kind of all the logistics.
Well, we need to kind of decide whether if we're just gonna be cash only when we're putting in our ads. We may want to note that cash only for this event for no matter what they're gonna be doing.
Well, it looks like that's kind of our only option.
Yeah,
would
I
say.
agree. So like, I think we should make that common knowledge then, you know, with the Facebook ad and everything else, just so people are aware of that to hit the bank machine on their way over.
yeah, because I know the vendors at the summer send off had a really hard time with their bank machines getting reception, so
Living in it.
we can try, which is. And I'll be there, so I'll have my phone, so we can use corporate phone to link to, but again, cell reception is gonna be a challenge.
Jane putting a landline in our house because we couldn't rely on our cell signals there.
Yep.
It's so bad.
So one of the comments I'm gonna make on this, and it also kind of relates to something that was brought up to me at Picnic in the Park as well. They thought we should include businesses. But my comment was, it is to get more people engaged in community groups. Because we all need more. And basically it was to get the safety day involved to teach mainly kids, which seem to work out that way, on safety. I'm not really interested in having businesses there. If other groups want to do businesses, go to it. So my comment would be the same for this event. I'm not very interested in having businesses
I think,
as a vendor show.
I don't think we're a vendor show. I think inviting our platinum sponsors is one thing, as I thank you for donating to us and for helping keeping these events going. Because we all know that the budget has to come from somewhere.
Yep.
But I would agree.
So regarding that, I would like to, Mike, if you want to reach out, or whoever reached out to the platinum sponsors again to see if they want to come out. I'm more than happy to have them come out because like Melissa said, I like their support.
The same 10x10 space kind of thing.
The town would like a 10x10 space too, please, and thank you.
Yeah, I think the business component, there's nothing wrong with, as a platinum sponsor enticement.
Right. I don't want to get into doing
I think there's enough vendor shows
Right.
around. Yeah.
if you want
The Legion just had one last month.
yeah. Oh, like I said, that it was a picnic with a purpose, and I would just like to keep it in that respect because it's working well. And it's looked forward to, so I think we're on the right track with that.
Have we applied for the liquor license already? Looks like we're too close now, aren't we? hopefully we've done this, yes.
Oh, just a long time ago, yeah. Anything else for Canada Day right now?
Part of the town's booth, we're gonna be doing a public information session for the Parks and Recreation Master Plan.
Okay.
So we don't necessarily want you to necessarily advertise a municipal information session, but through our means, we'll be advertising that, come join us at Celebrate Canada. Give us your opinion, what you'd like to see for the future of Parks and Recreation in Plympton-Wyoming.
That'd be a good plan.
That's a really good idea.
Got a volleyball floor.
It's already been discussed, one of, and being looked at.
It's already gone in.
There you go, so then we already heard you.
More swimming spots.
That's also been heard,
Yay.
but put it all, say it to the people doing the report, because that's gonna really guide council for the next 5 to 10 years.
Has anybody researched the Optimist to get their advertising for the event, if they haven't yet? Just because if we start sharing their posts, maybe they'll share our posts and we'll.
I'll get in touch with Adrian. Okay, I was speaking to Adrian this week. And I was mentioning that we're going to be on the parking lot on the west side of the parking lot, south of the weather for his
And if you want to just double check with him too, I had mentioned before that if they needed more volunteers, that we would do what we can to find people. So just double check how they are for numbers, because if we are supposed to be helping them with volunteers as well, we'll really have to
get some.
put the word out. But we should start reminding people to bring your bike.
I'll get in touch with them, either A or Dean Thomas, one of the two. I know Adrian runs their
I'll try to bring a couple spare bikes that day anyway, just so that we have some extra, but.
Yeah, regarding that bike safety, Gordon and I, we come across some very valuable information really from the OPP.
yes.
Regarding that I think kind of, I looked at Gord looked at me and we're like, wow. So I'll share that one later, okay? So in regards to Celebrate Canada, we do need to purchase 2 tables, which I definitely think we're gonna get used to. Melissa's, like I said, she has looked at them. So can I have a mover and a seconder for a motion to purchase 2 tables for use for the events committee? As of right now, I think 2 of them were $350 tops, right?
Yeah.
But they might be coming on sale. So do I have a mover and a seconder for that? Moved by Ingrid, seconded by Brenda. Thank you. All in favor? Thank you.
We having Bob and or the MP there.
I know Marilyn will be, Marilyn Gladu will be.
Okay.
I will check with Bob again, or did you take that stuff back to? Did they mention anything? I'll reach out to them.
I don't think she appreciated getting it back.
I didn't have to. Okay.
And then if we can get, I know we do have a fair amount of Canada flags, but if we can get any more from anybody?
I called their office and asked them and they said, just come in the week of with a number in mind. She said, we'll give as many as we can, but you have to have a number to ask them.
Like 100, 150 would probably be lots, but. We have a
Lots.
yeah, well, like we've got a fair amount already in the container, so.
I can do that.
Thanks, Jim. Okay, are we safe to move on? So new business. Nicole, if you can pull up this next one. Pins and fenders. So a while ago, the committee talked about having a show in McKay Park with a retro car show as well as a classic 50s, 60s, 70s music show. I know the one fellow in the band. So I approached him and to see, it's called Frankie and the Fair Lanes. They have been around in this area. They have done some shows mainly through churches and stuff like that. It's a 2-hour show. I'll just read you what they have. It says the new tour is called Channel Surfing, and it is a blast. We pulled out all the stops for the show. More great music from the 50s, 60s, 70s, plus costumes, surprises, more fun than ever. And they will have Elvis and Elton John there. Basically trying to target a age group that I don't think we've tried in town yet. And I want to say that the ages, because I want to be careful. And we're going to tie in the retro car events. So I had to come to a date that they worked for them, worked for the group. Hopefully the park is available.
Gazebo is, I have it rented
There you go, Jill.
for a family thing.
Okay.
We'll think it's great to have all the cars there, but, and there's, we don't have a big family, but, yeah.
I don't know what time you have it rented for. Isn't this more, I feel like this is more of an evening thing.
It
now.
is more of like a 4
For the whole
o'clock
day.
Okay.
But I mean,
on.
we'll be done eating by then.
We won't be in the gazebo.
Oh, wow, that's fine.
So it was a long drawn out process to find this particular stage. So if any of you have been to Elvis Canada Day, there is a mobile stage. And it turns out that the Village of Warwick has it. And they only give it out to certain people for certain events. And I talked to them and they're more than willing to bring the stage to us. It's all self-covered stage. And they roll it in and we set it up and they can put the lights and everything to it and it's a nice stage. It's up high. And it's only $250. So it was amazing to walk across the contact for that. If not, we would have either had a trailer or it would have been $1,400. So anyway, this I thought was, everything worked out. So fins and fenders, for the simple fact, fins on the car that you see there and fenders as in guitar. So that's why I come up with the name Fins and Fenders. So it's a summertime music show. Bring your lawn chairs, and we're thinking of maybe having food available for purchase. So I've already reached out to a couple of people just to say, hey, if we have this event, are you available? Because it'll be over supper hour. Plus the vendor that's in the park currently. And then if they don't have enough desserts, we can always go to Jill's family's group. So,
Mary,
this is my extended family.
there you go.
What time are you thinking?
Well, so talking to the car show guy, the cars at 4 o'clock, he said they'll start showing up. So I'm thinking more so the middle of the park area. So nowhere near the gazebo, the middle of the park area with the stage kind of closer to the splash park area. People can bring their lawn chairs and sit out there. The car show itself is maybe a 4-hour car show that they like. We don't have to do anything for it. It'll just be looked after for us. The music will be from 6 till 8. So if we go back to the budget sheet, Nicole. Again, this is kind of really only possible to have this extra event this year for the simple fact, we did get the community grant for Community Futures Grant for Christmas in the Village. So some of the expenses there will be covered by that. So that frees up some capital there, as well as coming under budget on some of the other events and the successful marketing at the start. So the expenses for this event is $1,200 for the group. He said I could talk him down to $1,000 for the family discount, but I just put it in at $1,200 for now. The rental stage of $250, the larger ad for the independent, Facebook, a wider area maybe for Facebook advertising. Whether we do I could do a video montage maybe and send that to you to go around as well. Posters, coroplast signs. I don't know whether we should. Again, we could talk about that later. I had in there possibly Truck and Mamas is available, Boulanger is available, and Bubbles is available. So I can talk about that later. So all that is coming in at roughly 2,000. And I think that's more than enough, but if we had a budget of 2,500, then that just covers the what ifs. So I guess I'm just throwing this out to the group. What are your thoughts on having this type of event?
100%. I think it would be fun if the committee members dressed up.
I think that's a
Bobby
good
socks and.
idea because I'm not there that day.
Not there either.
Boy, oh, come
Something just come up.
on. The guys are easy enough, but.
I think Brenda had made,
Well,
Not sure if I'm gonna be either. I'm running a cornhole tournament that weekend and I'm not sure if I'm gonna be done that time. I'll try.
My whole family. It's my family.
Honestly, in terms of the group, there's, if we set our tent up, that's really all we have to do. We
Yeah.
nothing for us to do.
But I think the event is a great idea. Just a second that,
Targeting a group that we haven't tried,
something different,
right?
something.
And I really think we should post within the seniors home on the road.
Sets up the stage.
They will bring it in, they'll set it up. I just have to be there when they bring it in.
That's all covered under $250 fee.
I think Brenda made the point before, though, if we're gonna do an event like this, it'd be cool if we could do like glass bottle sodas and that kind of stuff, like really, and like maybe we can go to the scouts or somebody, maybe they would sell them and maybe Foodland would let them return the extras or something like that, but like something like that where like the kids could pull around a wagon with like a cooler with the sodas and like sell that way. I think might be a nice addition to the event, just to kind of.
I think it would be retro and cool, but I'm not looking forward to having staff clean up broken glass after that happens.
That's the problem.
I think there's no glass pile of it.
Oh,
Lost.
There for a reason. It's a good idea, though.
I like it. I love glass sodas, but in the parks, it's just, you're asking for potential headaches.
Again, we can maybe work out the particulars later, but I said there's really not a lot for us to do in this one. Basically, everything's arranged and just blasted out there that people will. When I first mentioned to the retro car events, the owner, I should say not the owner, but the guy that's in charge of it for this area, immediately within 10 minutes, he got response back from all the people that this is absolutely something that they would love to do and look forward to. So there could be a tremendous amount of cars there. Like I'm talking anywhere from 100 to 150, so, which would be good.
I think we'd see a lot of people outside of our PW too. I mean,
oh, yeah.
Petroleum, like, you know, people go for it, especially if it's nice out, go for a drive and.
I just know when Petrolia had their, used to get the market. Right, tons of people came from a long distance and set their lawn chairs up and listened to music, and they said that this is a show. You know, it's a show. So are we all in favor of it?
I
Yeah,
think we should try to put our thinking hats on though to see if there's something else small we could do to kind of increase the retro vibe.
Yeah, we do our homework and see what else we can come up with,
How
little
about
things
how
to
about a-
add to the ambiance.
How about a movie? An old movie we can project on the side of a wall of some sort.
Well, we have an inflatable movie screen.
Something like that. Maybe we can get an old movie to do before or after the music.
Happy days, yes.
American Graffiti would probably be. a good choice.
Love it.
Oh,
Love it. Yeah. Or Grease.
that's a class.
so again, there's enough money kind of left for all that we can. Add to the event. This is just the basics, but you know, there's lots that we can add to the event.
We have a machine that would run the projector rather for that event. Because then all we have to really look at cost wise is getting the actual movie.
Mhm. We have a whole setup here.
Is that right?
It doesn't get used nearly enough either.
Well, I think that might be a good opportunity, like American Graffiti, I think is a great idea. Grease is another one.
I don't see
There's
the
a
whole
lot of good
thing, but I don't
movies.
know if the content's appropriate for American Graffiti.
You got a good
I'm
point.
not sure, but I don't think it might be, but Grease, I feel like there's a
some borderline stuff there for the younger kids too.
Yeah, but how many of them are gonna be there at that time of night after the
enough.
music, right? Cause if the music's running 6 to 8.
You're not aiming at the 20 or 30-year-old.
That's true.
And they're bringing, people are bringing their own lawn chairs, so we don't have to worry about that. All we need to, what would be cool is to get a popcorn vendor there.
30, it'd be early.
Well, and the only downfall would be it would make the event a long night for some people, and some would say, and some won't, you know, we've had. I would say some of the movie nights that we have run, we've had some moderate success with. But, you know, we do have the full works for the movie.
I suggest we do it.
Most car show guys like to be gone before dusk.
Right.
Because if you're driving your classic after dusk, you're washing bugs for 3 weeks after that.
Yeah.
So that is one of the downfalls is a night movie, especially getting on into August,
Yeah.
well, bucks.
So
We haven't done it before, but
spending a lot of my childhood years at car shows, if you're gonna do a car show, like make it so the car show is gone by like you said, if the music's done at 8, the cars are gonna wanna go at 8. And then let them clear out and maybe start a movie at 9 o'clock. That gives time for the car show to clear out and time for you to, you know, get everyone in there with the chairs for the movie at the end.
so I've leaned heavily on actually the guy that is the owner for Frankie and the Fairlines. This is how they started. Was they did car shows and then they started doing the music for the car shows, and that's how kind of they got going. So I've leaned heavily on his brain to help me kind of get what was gonna work, what. Are we okay with a $2,500 budget for this?
Yes.
Need a motion for that, Nicole, or just, oh, can I have a first and seconder then for Fins and Fenders event? Held at 16th with a budget of $2,500. Bill is a mover, Gord is a seconder, all in favor? Great, thank you. Yeah, actually, I think it'll be a cool event.
I think it's a nice way to reach out to a different style of event that we haven't done yet and see what our success.
Totally different style. Advertising on this, probably Alex, we will start earlier. Once I give the go ahead, then a lot of these groups will start doing their own advertising as well. So we'll kind of have theirs, the car event and ours all running.
And we can hand out flyers at the Canada Day thing as well if we have them ready.
Can you go back to the budget sheet there, Nicole, for a second, please? Scroll up to the next one. Alex had sent an email on behalf of the Fire Association. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so the Fire Association for 2 years ran an outdoor movie night. They missed last year, but the 2 years before that, they did an outdoor movie night. That's been really successful, like well over 100 kids both times. The second time they had to move it inside because of weather, but the first year was completely outside. And then we missed last year. We got a bunch of messages on Facebook about being disappointed that we weren't able to do it. So the association's looking at doing it again this year. They do it the Wednesday before the long weekend in August, right before the kids go back to school. They do it on a weeknight because usually everyone's gone for that long weekend. So they've had success with that date, and they threw it out there. If I know we're trying to do movie nights, if the association and the committee wanted to kind of partner up for it, the association does the barbecue and the food and all that stuff. It was just more so selfishly, it helps with insurance for the property, partnering with the town, I think, for the association. So if they just wanted to throw it out there, if this events committee wanted to partner up on it, the association pretty much does all the Facebook advertising too. It would be Wednesday, August 27th. So in previous years, we started at 8, the movie started at 8:15 because the sun's usually setting a little bit closer to then at the end of August.
And whereabouts?
The community center. So last year they had it in the outfield of, or 2 years ago, in the outfield of whatever, is it Diamond One that's right at the road there? Yeah, so the outfield of Diamond One, I think Brad actually helped us. We kind of Mickey Mouse the screen to the fence. It was so windy and it worked really good.
Worked very well.
But I would say there's well over 100 kids at that.
Oh, yeah,
that
that,
one.
that was well attended.
Yeah.
Like it really was well attended and it was just a perfect weather. Night. Do you know what the movie is yet?
No, we have not picked a movie yet.
So I had penciled in some numbers there just because we do have the budget. But I guess my question, Alex, what would the events committee? What would their portion be? Like, how are we helping other than running the equipment?
Helping with the equipment's the main thing, yeah. But like, I mean, it's just a matter of how many people you need help with to set it up, and if you guys wanted to have a tent up or whatever.
Okay.
But the event, like, the first time we did it, the association did a lot of activities before the movie started at 7, and then we didn't start till 8:30, I think. But a lot of that still had a lot of dead time, so they're probably gonna push it to 7:30 with the movie starting at 8:15. So again, it was just occasionally just doing the barbecuing.
And those events that you did have was really quite good, you know, those really.
Yeah, they just did like stations with the kids so they could play around with the Auto X tool and stuff.
So would you be looking at the events committee splitting on half the movie cost, or I guess I'm just trying to figure.
Yeah, if you
what our
want,
costs
if they
be.
wanted us, the only cost would be splitting the movie if you want to split it. But that being said, the previous 2 years, we've been successful at getting those costs covered completely.
And you guys at that point yet in your,
We have a meeting tomorrow.
okay,
So I said I would float it out there beforehand.
I think it's fair to say then um, if they don't get the movie costs, maybe do half the movie costs. I think we could do a little bit of Facebook advertising, because I think it might get us more people, because especially if the firefighter, the association shares our post, then we might get people that we haven't gotten to our Facebook page. Another way they should an ad in the paper, I think we can maybe leave that up to the association to make the decision.
what about posters around town? Would you guys do those? Did you do them
I think we
before?
did them last year. I think we did Facebook advertising last time.
Yeah. So,
What about the advertising at the Bacon Burger?
Yeah, if we're able to finalize, I'm sure they would help us because we're helping them promote as well. Yeah.
and in terms of food, you've got all that covered.
Association will do all the barbecuing. We had bubbles a few years ago at that one event. The only downside there was we had it running after the movie started, so the generator was loud. If you remember that.
He was way off on the north side, right?
Yeah. When he was running the generator, it was still a bit loud because that was before we had the really nice sound system.
Yeah.
So I think if we have an ice cream thing, I think that's great. We'll probably shut it off.
Yep.
It's loud, but
Like, did you want me to ask him or do you want?
maybe leave that one with me and I'll check with
Yeah.
the group. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. So,
They also might sell ice cream bars or something.
oh, yeah, that's fine. I'm just trying to think as any way that we can help, but, I know you're not gonna be around.
I am not around.
Not that we need a lot of people to show up, but I will be available to. Even though we have a really nice manual,
Copyright.
even though we have a really nice manual, I will,
Oh, yeah.
I can.
Appreciate having an expert on site.
Well, I haven't run for 2 years, so don't do that yet, no. I guess, are we all in favor of helping the fire association out?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. All right, so count us in, Alex, keep us informed of what we can do, I guess, on that. Thanks. So if you just kind of scroll down the rest of the, I kind of forecasted out the rest of the year based on previous experience. So if you keep going down to go even to Christmas in the Village, the balance on the right-hand side concerns me. And concerns me for the fact that there's gonna be a little bit too much left over at the end of the year. Traditionally, we've had 3,500 to 5,000 kind of left over, but it's an odd year for the simple fact we've only had to pay for half of the Kennedy event. Right, so that's kind of the kicker with this one. So Nicole, if you could just scroll over to the red area there. No, sorry, the other side. Yeah. So I just kind of put that there. If we would have had to pay for Canada Day in full, we would have left, we would have had about, we should have about 5,000 carry forwarded. Maybe slightly more depending on the Community Futures grant. Before anything gets purchased for it, we have to let you know, right? Because the invoices have to reflect date wise for that particular event, right?
Yeah, and we have to, when we do our final report, we have to show the invoices too, so.
Do we have entertainment for Halloween yet?
We don't, I put in there 2,500.
Okay.
It was 2,563 last year, so.
Correct me if I'm wrong, the Community Futures Grant, like the grant from the Wyoming Foundation is supposed to go to purchase decorations and improve the Christmas in the village, right? Not
Yeah.
necessarily supposed to pay for operational.
No, so for the Community Futures Grant, we said Christmas decorations and to improve the Santa seating area. For that, so.
So you really don't have that money to offset Christmas in the village, put towards the fins and vendors, so that will affect your balance a little bit too.
Well, so if you scroll back for a second, some of the stuff I know that we put in for Community Futures, some of the stuff was, or for even the Christmas in the Village, no, hold on, the Community Foundation grant was for decorations and stuff for that event, right? Or to enhance that event, right? So I don't know whether, like, we always ask for donations for both horses, right? So whether that is an enhancement to the event, I don't know, but at the end of the day, we'll still be fine no matter which way we look at it.
How much was the Community Futures grant?
But
Right, and we've got the
Foundation
Christmas
was
tent,
25.
which the Christmas tent and the music should be considered expense.
Right, right, for the Community Futures, that, because you would put in there, you'd ask me about the music and stuff like that, right?
We had to put 3 things, but we figured the best things were the decorations in the Santa seating area, but then the Wyoming Community Foundation, I think it was just to enhance that.
Because the Christmas tent's for Santa, right?
Yes.
So that'll definitely go out of that grant.
Have you got more decorations up there?
No, but there's money to spend, we can.
It would be nice to get some like fake presents and that kind of stuff to put around Santa as well. A little bit more.
That will be
3D
for the
stuff.
decorating committee. So anyway, you can kind of see where the rest of the year is kind of penciling out, so we're in decent shape, I guess, at the end of the day.
If we have this much money, do we want to consider, I know we're getting late, but do we want to consider some sort of entertainment for Canada Day? Like some sort of. Like something like the magician that we had, but maybe a little different. Like, cause the event is.
For June 21st,
Yeah.
I don't know whether you'd be pressing to try and get
Something.
something.
Remember, just sponsorship, is that? That's where is the surplus money? That's not a guaranteed thing.
And not a bad thing to hold extra, because if you have a lean year or if you want to purchase.
Yeah.
I think it is.
The only concern, I'll be honest, was I heard a couple things that if there's so much money left over, then they don't need to ask the town for money. That was watching one of the meetings one night. But
I'll continue to advocate for.
Not bad to have a bank account, so.
well, and that's it. I wasn't sure whether we can.
Carrying a bit of a balance is a good thing, not being at zero at all time are good, so.
I did mention it during the last budget that, similar to what Adam just said. We're fully funded, but for the most part by sponsorships.
Right.
And the committee or the community expects these events year after year. So if we have a lean year, we at least have that money to get through a year before it's. Problem raising money, so I don't think, I'll reiterate that as we go on.
I'm definitely okay with having a healthy year end.
Closing to what the town gives you every year is probably a good target, because then, you know, the towns is just that seed fund, it's that safety net.
Yeah.
And then the events are really being funded by the community, but we're here to make sure that if something happens, we can still have some form of events.
Okay, oh, that's good. All right, I think that's it for that, Nicole, thank you. Yeah, I don't have anything else. Anyone else have anything that they need to go over?
Did I see if I can get music for Christmas in the Village?
Oh, I thought we'd already asked him. I know I asked Dean last year and he said, reach out to me later. He said, but
Know the date now too.
yeah, I'm okay with it. If everyone else is okay with the band that we had last year,
Yeah, I think they did a good job.
it just added to me for sure.
Yeah, I think if we can get any sort of choir bells, anything like that, that would be great, and maybe in addition to, but.
Handout, you mean, or?
No, like if there's any sort of choir or bells or anything like that. That we can have on that date, that would be,
Well, the problem is it's during,
I know, but it's June, I'm asking now. I know, but if, on the off chance that you hear of anybody, let us know.
not mentioning any name.
The other thing that would be
Their
nice
concert
too,
last night,
Mm,
LYC. Ring concert.
I think that would be nice regarding Christmas in the Village is to get them away from the entrance to Lions Hall, right?
yes.
But would be nice. We do
Can
have
we
a,
rent the stage from Warwick again for Christmas in the Village?
yes, I'm sure we can. As long
Like,
as
that would be nice, cause then it's
Well,
covered, it
it's
gives
covered.
them. It, and like we can, cause they're
Yeah.
so squished where they are.
Well, I have it, well, no,
We could run
I'm
power.
gonna say where we run the tree from over at the medical center, I need that plug right in. This is too far away for me to even think about,
I
but,
know, but maybe mention it. to
but
them,
yes,
because
I can ask,
if we
because
could
you're
get,
right,
like,
it is.
it would give Barry a better stage to stand on, it
Yep.
would give everything just that more grand feel.
It's, yeah, it's a nice thing to be able to get. Put it that way. Yeah, anyone else have anything?
What was the date of the Halloween that we decided?
I didn't have a date in there. I
Okay.
just put some numbers in there based on last year.
I think we usually do the weekend before Halloween's on the Friday.
25th is what I've written.
Yeah.
Lots discussed.
The 25th is probably what we'll aim
And
for.
Christmas in the Village?
December 13th. Be around for the Halloween this time,
Will be.
in the Mediterranean.
I will be here for both. Ingrid, we'll just pass off to one another, it's fine.
Okay.
So if there's nothing else, then I have a motion here, moved by Jill, seconded by Mike, special event adjourned July 7th. 7 PM, all in favor?